Yeah, we a bunch of hotties. We hanging out. We a bunch of the celestial bodies. We hanging around the table. It's a good vibe. Yo, we're about to expand our damn tribe. We got the guy here singing holier than a chorus. Our guest today is the sexy man Boris. He got the beard. He's not weird, you know. He got the flamboyance. He is so cool. Yo, make some noises.
Yeah, this dude is. Oh, go ahead, man.
It's all right. I haven't seen y'all in a minute, but you know what? I'm still gonna win it. I'm gonna bring it. And how? Even though I got a baby now. It's been a couple of years since I've been going on the flow, but I can still go toe to toe with the best of them. Yo, a little off the beat. I know that I'll complete the rhyme. I won't be discreet. I'll still land it. I know dag nabbit. I'm gonna have it. I gotta be here to brag it. It's been a minute. I haven't rapped in a few years, but that's all right, cause I still ain't got not a single fear.
Boy, yeah, it's all right. You got that stuff really cool. Yes, your raps are still tight. You're a proud father, like you're proud Mary Tina, with your new daughter, whose name is Nina. Ooh. Yes, it's all
She's so cute. Oh, she's in her little baby suit. What's a baby suit called? A onesie? I don't remember, but wouldn't a baby suit be funsy?
Yo, Doug, it is called a baby suit. And the baby's looking dope and they looking cute. They got bow ties on and a full tuxedo. The babies are great, like you know.
Baby so sleepy, it's about to squint. Sorry, in a baby suit, executive infant. Baby CEO making decisions in the poop shoot. Far with that baby precision.
Getting that loot in that baby suit. It don't compute, I'm in a baby suit. Yeah, salute me in the baby suit. Tie my boots, I'm in the baby suit. Babies up in the baby suit. Babies out in the baby suit. Babies pulling missions in a baby suit. A whole fleet and troop of babies in baby suit.
Oh, man. Yeah. Welcome, Boris. Our guest today is the incredible, hilarious Boris Khyakin. He performs stand-up all over New York. He's produced countless shows. I mean, Bushwick Bears, right?
That is one.
You were one of the Bushwick Bears?
That is true.
I used to live with Jericho for many years.
No fucking way.
Yeah, dude. Oh, my God.
Oh, I love Jericho.
That's probably why you... Wow.
That's funny. I mean, it depends how long ago. Because they've been doing that show. I joined probably for like the last 4 years or so.
I lived with Jericho like in 2013. I think when he was starting when Graham was still around.
Yeah, I wasn't part of the Bushwick Bears yet.
Yeah.
But I used to do it when it was him and Graham and I'm blanking on. Yeah, and Matt producing.
That's okay. Wow. And you're also a North Coast alum.
I am an
OG North Coast alum. You came into the
Coast.
picture like 3 months in or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, you came into rehearsal, you were doing a scene, and you went, I'm funkier than Bootsy Collins.
Awesome.
And the whole room completely fell out. Everyone was dying laughing. And James looked over at me like, man, I think that guy should be on the team. Yeah, but we go way back. It was 09, right?
Yeah, maybe sooner than that, possibly. But yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
So it's an absolute pleasure to have you on here.
Likewise, I'm excited to be here. Clearly, when I'm jumping in, stepped on RJ's rap.
Yeah.
That's okay. He was tossing it to you, and then I was like, okay, I should not jump on that.
It's been a minute. Why don't I back up Boris in case he's not ready?
And it wasn't completely clear. Like I wasn't like as specific as I could have been. So
It's
feedback
all right,
on
Doug.
myself.
It's all right, Doug.
Yeah.
I see you.
Okay.
Eye contact.
I'm a work in progress.
It's good to have this sort of transparency on the podcast.
Yeah. The transparency about former living situations as well.
Also,
Yeah.
and we lived together.
Yeah.
And you lived with me.
And
Oh,
I
so
lived
many
with-
connections.
Yeah, so many connections. Wow, man.
If we ever commit a crime, it's going to be like one of those walls.
With the strings.
Get
everywhere.
out the yarn and the pins.
Yeah. And the newspaper clippings.
So Boris, let's get right to the main thing. You're a new father.
I am a new father.
How
Yay.
many months now?
She turned 1 month on the 9th.
Wow, it's
So just a
new.
few days ago.
Goodness gracious. And you seem very composed.
I'm much more composed now than I was, let's say, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks. The first 2.5 weeks ago, I was just telling RJ, it was like truly very crazy. She came 3 weeks and 2 days early. Everyone's healthy, everything's good, but it does mean that like her birth weight is really important. They have to, because they lose. I didn't know this before I had a baby. A lot of things I was like, how is this not common? Like many things that I was like, how do people not know this? But they lose 10%. They want them to lose no more than 10% of their birth weight when you bring them home, because they're used to getting nutrients funneled through the umbilical cord, and now they have to learn to eat and do it on their own. And so it takes about a week for them to go back to their birth weight. And she lost just slightly over that. And so it was like we had to be really militant with feeding her. And it's just, you have to do it every 2 to 2.5 hours, 24/7, until they regain the birth weight. And even after that, so for like 2.5 weeks, we were feeding her 24/7, every 2.5 hours. And it takes well over an hour to feed her. And so by the time you're done feeding her, you have maybe an hour until you need to start feeding her again. And that was 24/7.
That
just
is
the
crazy.
Groundhog's Day.
And any help from mom and dad, or was it you and
So
Megan?
Megan's mom, I mean, everyone's been helpful in various ways, but Megan's mom stayed with us in those first 2 weeks for like, originally she was going to stay for 4 days, and then we asked her to stay we were like, can you please stay for a few more days? So she stayed for probably like 6 days or so in those, because I was also still working full time because I am freelance, permalance.
So you're editing videos with a baby in your arm.
Well, I wouldn't. But that did happen a few times. More
Yeah.
so, I have like a little sack that I hold her in,
Oh,
so I
sure.
have 2 hands free.
Okay.
And
like
then
a
of
true Nordic father.
Yeah. And then of course Megan's mom, when she was there, I wouldn't be holding her and editing. But there's like a paternity through New York State where they'll cover part of your salary for a particular amount of time, but it's like a whole bureaucratic thing. I still don't know for a fact if it like went through. But because she was born early, it wasn't kicking in yet. So for her, the first couple of weeks, I was still editing. My employer was like, as individuals, they were all very understanding and accommodating, but as a bureaucracy, it doesn't all like function so smooth in terms of responding to unusual events.
Sure. Yeah, it's like the fact that they told me that the unemployment during COVID, those checks, it was like, oh yeah, the best browser to be on is Internet Explorer. That said that. So I when you were doing that, I'm sure that there was some technological.
Any chance you could connect with Net Zero?
Yeah. It's shocking. Well, I'm glad that you're out of the woods on the wait period. Like
For sure. That's already like taking the pressure off a little bit. And there's a new out of the woods every couple weeks or months.
Right. Yeah, and probably for the rest of the
18 years from now, you'll be out of the woods, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if she becomes a functioning member of society.
Right. If we did these 18 years right.
Yeah. Oh man.
2 questions for you. One, do you guys have family? Like, I know you said that her mother was able to stay for a while. Do you have family in New York, or are they all spread out?
It's pretty spread out. Her mom is in upstate New York, maybe like a 2-hour drive. So she's able to come. My parents are in Jersey, but my mom still works full time, so it's not as easy, but they've come. Everybody pitched in and got us baby formula, which now on the down low we probably have a little bit more than we'll need because Megan's production is better without getting too into everything. We originally were kind of like not sure how much we would need, and so like all our parents were just like, I picked up baby formula. I had to literally be like, okay, we're going to have a pretty good stash. Let's do some baby
Now
formula.
you can set up shop in McCarran Park.
Yeah, sell it.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Baby formula here, $100 per bottle.
Yeah.
Start putting it in my coffee in the morning.
My sister-in-law is part of this like Facebook group and like the community she lives in, where just the mothers of this community, and like they literally like update that forum with just like, oh, they restock CVS, oh, they restock Target, and like the immediate they're the first to know within their community, and it's crazy because like they just had a baby like last month too, and so about the same age as your daughter, so like that's
there are
wild.
communities everywhere around it, which is nice. Like we're in multiple Facebook groups and stuff, lots of advice and everybody helping each other out. And also the baby formula thing, maybe it's different elsewhere in the country, but generally speaking, I think it's really only a big concern if you need like a particular type of baby formula. If your baby's not like sensitive and it's whatever, like from my experience of my parents and her parents trying to get some, basically like it'll sell out by the end of the day, but most like CVS, Target, Walmart, they all get stocked in the morning, and they all have it in the morning.
Okay.
So it's not as dire as it was if you need regular baby formula.
Yeah, and it's probably already improved, and also there was probably a bit of like with anything else, like a feedback loop, or people panic buy, and then it's a little bit more empty in the beginning.
Like with the paper towels and the toilet paper.
Exactly.
During COVID.
Yeah.
Bootleg baby formula. Bootleg baby formula.
Bootleg baby formula. Bootleg baby formula.
Who heard of the Gerber? Where is the Similac? Give me that, all of that. I want to give it back. Stock it up, stock it up. Man, I got enough. Man, I don't got enough. My baby's coughing up. My baby need more food. My baby need more milk. Man, she needs something good to drink. Give me that formula. Stop with the cap. That ain't real Similac, man. Where you at?
Bootleg baby formula.
Bootleg baby formula. Bootleg baby formula. Bootleg baby formula. My baby is crying and just like a grouch. Gotta get baby formula from in the house. What's this, orange juice? Baby formula. What's this, Pepsi? Baby formula. Anything I find in my house I will use. I will use on my daughter or son to put in their mouth because there is a shortage. Oh my gosh, what is that? The cork from a wine bottle?
Bootleg
Baby formula. Bootleg baby formula. Bootleg baby formula.
20.
Bootleg baby formula.
Yo, take care of my baby. Rub-a-dub-dub. I'm making baby formula in the bathtub. The baby won't cry, the baby won't whine, 'cause I got that sweet formula moonshine. Yeah. Oh, find me in the back of the alley, selling formula to everybody. You know, your mama named Allie.
Yeah, I got moms on moms on moms on moms on moms. Moms on moms on moms making up that formula. Moms on moms on moms on moms. You need some moms on moms on moms. You got some
Bootleg baby formula. I need it. Bootleg baby formula.
You got it.
Bootleg baby formula. Just a little bit. Bootleg baby.
I take
on the
Bitcoin.
I was literally gonna say dark web, and you said Bitcoin.
All right.
I didn't use this line, but I want to do something someday in my life. I'm snorting Infamil.
What?
I'm snorting Infamil, just like.
My baby's freebasing.
Oh man. Hey, as long as it's got the right fat to protein ratio. Is it just extremely high fat, high vitamin stuff? Like, what is the secret sauce? Not to like harp on baby formula, but
So it is the particular ratio of like fat to proteins to sugars, and because I think like every milk is different, and then also they make formula from goat's milk, but I think they have to be like 1 year old or something for it to be usable. And then apparently there's European baby formula, not to get like crazy into it, but there's European baby formulas that are apparently better made than the ones here they basically like keep milk proteins in there, whereas the ones here for whatever reason remove the milk proteins and often replace it with like whey and like other forms of proteins. I'm not exactly sure why.
okay.
Could you order the European ones and have them shipped over here? Is that a thing that's
So
allowed?
originally you couldn't. Originally it's like apparently a whole thing where like it's like a Texas school book situation where the FDA, because they have programs to help out moms that need formula, they also happen to be the largest purchaser of formula in the country. So there's a bit of like a government situation there where they are able to influence the winners and losers in the baby formula game, and then those companies like Abbott Labs are able to lobby the FDA to keep competition out. And so there are a few startups starting like on the way that are making formula, but it's hard to compete because like the vast majority of formula has one purchaser, which is the government. And then they originally, I think there was like an actual black market for European baby formula by like wealthy moms.
Whoa.
Prior to any of this. And before any of this.
And did you say the whey protein was the European one, or was the whey the American?
No, it's the American one. And
The
there's
American way.
there's different there's different ones, so I'm not exactly sure like what the different options are here, but the European one supposedly is like actually better. Like the formula is better.
Okay. Wow. We have been educated.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
Thoroughly.
Fascinating.
Do you guys remember Chemical X from the Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah.
No?
I remember the Powerpuff Girls.
That's what made them the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chemical X. He was like, what was it? He took the things to make, sugar, spice, and everything nice. And then he added one extra ingredient, Chemical X. And they never, ever went over what Chemical X was in any of the episodes. But I've always wondered what Chemical X was. And talking about formulas got me thinking about that. The formula to make the perfect little girls.
And this could be a question for each of you, but I want to ask Boris this. What's one childhood thing that you could think of right now that you're like, man, I want to share this with my daughter? Like a cartoon or a book or a place
there's a
that you
lot
visited?
of that.
Oh,
Well,
man.
a lot of my stuff is Russian stuff. So, like, I actually there's a really good cartoon, but it's also a musical called Bremensky Muzikanty, which is basically means like, I actually don't know what the first word means, but they're basically like traveling gypsy musicians that are like bandits. And the music is really good, and it was made in like the 70s, and I actually have it on vinyl from the Russian vinyl. And it's like really good music, and they originally, when a lot of the American stuff wasn't, now they have like most of the American stuff, but when it wasn't allowed, like that was like one of the few things that you had to like entertain kids with that like really caught on as like a super popular national thing. And it's like really excellent made music. So yeah,
And you have it on vinyl, you said?
I do have it on
Like
vinyl.
the original vinyl, or it's like you just found it?
No. I've had it for a pretty long time.
Oh,
I think
okay.
at one point somebody might have shipped it to my parents. I'm not exactly sure how I got it, but that. And there's a Russian cartoon that's on YouTube that I would recommend to anybody because there's really no dialogue, called Nu Pogodi, which means like beware, but it's basically like a ripoff of like a Tom and Jerry cat and mouse thing, except it's like this wolf dog and a little rabbit. And the wolf dog is always like chasing after the rabbit, basically.
Whoa.
But it's like
isn't
adult.
wolf dog like an oxymoron? Those things that cancel each other out a little bit,
Some
right?
wolf
From the
dogs,
canine
some dogs
family?
that are bred with like a pure wolf.
Well, that's my language. It's definitely not. They call it it's just a dog that walks upright. They're both anthropomorphic, you know. But
okay.
it's just like a ragged looking like. I don't know.
It's an anthropomorphic part dog, part wolf. And what really matters is their friendship.
Yeah. Well, they're actually enemies, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, they're enemies? Oh, because it's
The dog's
it's
always
like-
trying to eat the rabbit, but he always like fails to
seen
do
it?
it.
No, it's just Tom and he said Tom and Jerry. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
like-
So you knew it. Yeah, you knew
Yeah.
it.
Cat and mouse game, except it's
Yeah.
dog and rabbit.
Sure.
My
sure.
girlfriend Anya, who you know, Boris, is also Russian, and when we first started dating, she made sure to show me she showed me a Russian Winnie the Pooh,
It's great. The Russian Winnie the Pooh is excellent.
and she showed me something with a raccoon or something, and it was very. They were both kind of scary. I think one of them was stop motion or something. Maybe both.
Oh,
of them.
that would probably be Почтальон Печкин, maybe. Was there a mailman in it?
I don't remember.
No, that was Truchkin Gumblushkin.
I have a lot.
How did you know that?
I've been practicing. Okay.
Yeah, but they just have they have very.
There's bleak undertones to most of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Bit, man, it's so wild. We haven't watched a lot of that stuff in a while. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool to hear. I'm always curious about what is the thing that people, and it's different when it's like the things you remember that are like, oh, this was cool, versus the things you're like, but I want to share this with my kid. Like, want to be sure to.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah,
Thinking about I think it's also crazy to think my dad would play like Tina Turner or Janet Jackson, music in the car and stuff like that, or he'd play like Shaka Khan and stuff like that, because that was stuff that he wanted me like to listen to. He listened to it, but he wanted me to be exposed to it too. So that's one thing that he wanted to share with me. But now thinking about now that your child's going to be growing up, the music that you're going to be, like the music you're into and that you want to share with her, or that might be music that's being created today even. In like 20 years, she's going to be like, oh yeah, my dad used to play for me this old ass song and like this old music, this Harry Styles or like the BTS or whatever it is you might listen to now. I just think that's crazy to think about. Like now we're at that point where like, oh, I'm not experiencing older music anymore from another generation. Like I am going to be the one giving out that older music.
Oh my
to
God.
the new generation.
The idea of telling my kids about emo and hardcore and all this stuff, I probably won't show them hardcore, but like the idea of showing like Saves the Day or like anything, Yellow Card or anything, and that being classic rock is actually the most
classic rock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't say that.
The most mind-bending thing I can even think of. Like, let me show you a little bit of I don't know what they were called. Your lipstick is calling, I'm bothering you. Taking Back Sunday. Like the idea of that being classic rock is just bizarre to me.
This is a little Evanescence. Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, we used to love this.
Yeah. We know you're all on your boats this Sunday and you're enjoying the nice weather. Well, we're gonna put on a little Atreyu. I can't get past, though, somebody said Russian Winnie the Pooh. I just have to go back to that really quick.
Yeah.
So do they double down on the philosophical side of everything? Because Winnie the Pooh is like a super philosophical tale, but people are always like, oh, yeah, it's like, you know, how funny each character is. But like anxiety, depression, like Pooh is like got chaos all around him and he's like happy in spite of it. Like there's all these like things you can break down.
Yeah, so the Russian one actually, I think it's voiced by like a well-known Russian comedian, as a lot of these cartoons actually are. So most of the Russian cartoons are like very watchable as an adult, and some of them don't have that much dialogue either. Like Winnie the Pooh in particular. There's one called the Почтальон Печкин one, and there's one called Carlson the Крыше, which is about this like little magical fat man that has a propeller on his back and eats. It's marmalade. He's fueled by marmalade.
Okay, fine. I wrote it. You caught me. I wrote Sluchkin.
What?
Wait, what's
What
the
is this
fat man
character?
with the marmalade on his back?
Carlson the Крыше, which translates to Carlson on the roof, because this little boy is the only one who sees him. This one, it's been a minute since I've seen, and so he like the boy has to play. He always like asks for marmalade when he sees him because he eats marmalade, and he's got like one of those like propeller hats, except it's on its back, and he flies through the window into the attic. And
What?
Well, that was a lot to take in just now.
Oh my goodness.
I must find that. Is it on YouTube? This one?
I bet it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them are pretty damn good from what I remember. And there's a lot of like Russian, again, because I think maybe it was an issue with getting stuff into the country, or like it had to be written. But there's like a Russian Three Musketeers that like is pretty well known. I don't know if it's like a total, just a translation of Dumas, or like.
Is it like 3 men in a hot sauna just sitting there? We are the Musketeers.
I don't think I have a lot of. I think the only thing I could think that I would show my kids from, I think, only the Batman animated series is the only thing I can think of. That's like, man, this holds up. They gotta see this.
That's different than Batman Beyond, right?
I think it's the same
It's
kind
the
of
same continuity,
same-
like,
okay.
same like animation, and like I never got to watch all of it, but like because it's got like the OG voices like Mark Hamill and like Kevin Conroy and like
that show
Joker
is
and Batman.
iconic.
Yeah,
The old American cartoons, though, also like the stuff that had all the like classical music soundtracks. Like I learned so much classical music from like
Like
the
Bugs
old
Bunny.
yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff's pretty good. It's a good way to get introduced
Yeah.
to like.
It is, yeah.
I am-
Animaniacs too.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned 80s music from Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Won't be showing that to my children until they're 15.
15, that's the perfect age to play Grand Theft Auto.
15, the time when you show your kids. 15, the time when you show your kids.
15.
The time when you show your kids all the crazy wild shit you did. I'm drinking Red Bull, yeah, I'm skateboarding down the lane. I'm 50 years old, I'm going insane.
Okay.
When my kid is 15. We'll play Grand Theft Auto until it's the morning.
Turning
Yeah.
15, not like Scarlett O'Hara. It's time for a Grand Theft Auto quinceañera. It's time to teach you all the facts of life, like you're gonna have an erection now. Isn't that right?
15!
Yeah, that's crazy.
15!
Don't be lazy.
15!
Playing Grand Theft Auto.
15!
Malt liquor in your bottle.
15! Yeah, show them all about life. Show them everything they want to see in life. Oh, 15, what was I doing? Listening to music I'm pursuing. Yeah, you know I do not use it. I was listening to Miley Cyrus at 15.
Yeah.
I was listening to My Chemical Romance. I was listening to all sorts of things I want to show my kid when they turn 15. 15! 15!
I lost a tooth.
15!
Failing out of high school.
15!
Doing my thing.
Until you're 15, it ain't right to murder a prostitute in broad daylight. No kind of hate. Until you're 15, you've gotta wait. 15, I'll show you that thing, yeah, when you get in a car and commit a garanga. That's right, I played the original Grand Theft Auto back when it was 2D.
15!
Playing Grand Theft Auto.
15!
Get a prostitute in your automobile.
15!
Gotta complete that mission.
15!
Oh, you landed in the lake. You're dead.
Love Shack! Bang, bang!
On the door, baby.
Bang!
I feel like a formative movie for me was Land Before Time. I was very little when I watched it, but I just remember being like, oh, dinosaurs were on the planet first. And like, it's like emotional movie. I don't even remember the story that well, but I just remember crying a lot when I was like 5 years old. I feel like it's a good movie for kids, though.
Yeah, to be exposed
a
to.
lot of shit. I think for me, if I had to, the movie I would show my kids for sure is Hook. That movie is like,
That's
that
great,
changed my life. Yeah.
Is that Robin Williams is in that one, right?
Yeah, man. That movie was, I remember, I was like, that literally changed my, like, I didn't think about, I knew I was going to be an artist, but I was 9 and I saw that movie and I remember thinking, I'm like 9 years old. And I remember looking at Robin Williams and going, that guy's probably old. He's probably in his late 30s or something. I didn't know what old was, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that guy's probably old, but I believe he's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And that, like, fucking flipped a switch in my head. I was like, I never have to grow up. I remember thinking that as a kid.
That's weird because the lesson of the movie was that you do need to eventually.
But it's just like watching him as like I saw how old he was. I could see it, but I believed that he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I can always be like that.
It's like never finishing Goodfellas. You're like, the mob is great.
I stopped right before the end.
Yeah.
And the lesson was crime has no consequences.
Yeah.
It's also never talked about how fucking great Dustin Hoffman was as Captain Hook.
Oh, yeah.
He was so fucking good. Smee.
I was
don't
just
stop
thinking,
me, Smee.
who was that? That was Dustin Hoffman,
That was
huh?
Dustin Hoffman.
Wow.
Dude.
Yeah.
So cartoonish and funny and like, don't stop me, Smee. Don't stop me. Stop me, Smee. Stop me, you know. And then what's his name? Bob Hoskins is Smee. Like,
And it was Julia
Roberts
yeah.
is Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Who apparently was very difficult to work with. But yeah. I love.
Yeah, let's
she
celebrate
was so
Dustin
tiny.
Hoffman and talk down Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she was so small. It's very hard to work with an actress that's
Yeah,
just
so
an inch.
she was great. I loved her Tinkerbell, but yeah.
Was that in the 90s? Whenever
93.
Whenever a 90s movie has genuinely great special effects, I'm like, props.
Yeah.
Because they like, there's so many bad ones.
Mhm.
Like, I think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids didn't have that good of special effects, did it?
I mean, like, I think they sold it well because they used a lot of practical stuff, you know, like the big Cheerio, and you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause
Yeah, the bad stuff is when they first start trying to do like CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't already like an animated property. Like Pixar always did really well with Toy Story and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that looked
Right.
great. But then if it was like live action trying to do CGI, then yeah, it was
Yeah.
funky.
What about Jurassic Park? That was like one of the first high
right.
quality.
Yeah.
We're on a Spielberg run right now because I think
We are.
he produced Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I think.
Really?
And he directed Hook and
Oh, yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Wow.
Spielberg is
feeling
all
real-
childhood, man.
But that was one of the things that was when they redid Jurassic Park, a lot of people were like, this does not look, even the newer one, the first one that came out that was like relatively new, they were like, this does not look as good as when they were practical effects doing it with the CGI.
So practical plus CGI, like, can you?
You can mix them for sure. That's,
Okay.
I think that's probably the like right seamless way to do it.
So they had some animatronics, and then they were like in real time.
The original Jurassic Park, I think, was all animatronics and stuff. I don't think there was any
No,
CGI.
there was some
there.
CGI.
There
I'm pretty
was?
sure there was. Yeah.
Really?
Like green screen. There was definitely green screen stuff.
Yeah, but there's videos of them like up in 3D programs, like assisting
okay.
some of it. Yeah, I think it was a mix. I think
It was
yeah.
a mix. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, Avatar was popular.
I did not.
It was
like
the highest
Avatar.
grossing film of all time
Oh, as
until
one-
Dark Knight beat it right after.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
I did not enjoy it. I remember.
Did not
Which
enjoy it.
one? The
Avatar.
original
Yeah.
Avatar.
I mean, the heavy-handed 9/11 metaphor was like, okay.
Was there? I don't even remember that. That's very funny.
I was too young to remember anything from that movie. I was like,
I still want to go on the ride though. At Universal.
Oh, it's Universal?
Yeah.
Don't they have like a whole like world built there for Avatar? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At Pandora or something like that. The movie WALL-E I want to show if I ever decide to have kids.
I've never seen that.
Oh, dude, that was. I usually don't cry in movies just because I'm toxic male, but
Because I defense have.
but that was a movie where there's a scene at the very beginning, so it's not spoiling anything, where WALL-E is like floating through space, and it was just so majestic and beautiful, and there's like no words at that time. It's just like WALL-E and Eva, and it was so beautiful. It brought a tear to my eye. So I want a kid to see that. It's very
I
good
want
movie.
my child to cry.
I want my child to cry, and I want to look at them when I go, "You're going to be better than I was." So, you're holding your daughter while editing. Are you going to get your daughter into like editing? Are you going to show her all the software and like get her
I
in
am
tune
going
with
to
that?
do my absolute best to keep my daughter away from screens as long as I can.
Okay.
Nice.
So for another thing I didn't know is I still don't know for how long, because I actually don't think anybody knows technically. It's probably different child to child also. But for the first like month or so, I believe, they don't see more than, I believe, like 12 inches or so in front of their face.
Yeah.
And that develops, but I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is. And when I've asked, it doesn't sound like there's like a definitive, because every kid is different, and obviously they can't tap into what they're seeing. It's just kind of like, based.
So I knew about object permanence, which is where things literally disappear to them, which is why they laugh during
Well, that's a
peekaboo.
psychological
Yeah.
phenomenon more
And
than
this
it
is literally visual.
Yeah,
This is
physically
visually,
you
yeah.
can't see.
So you're an expert on this as well.
Well, no, I mean, because my niece just like
Your
was
niece?
because like when she because like you can tell when she looks at you, she doesn't look at you. She like looks past you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
She's not really looking at you. She's just trying to like.
It takes
see.
about 6
Yeah.
weeks for them, and she's like almost there, but I already do see her starting to like
Yeah.
actively be able to like follow and see you with her eyes. But before then, it's just kind of like they're not like making eye contact.
So what does this have to do with you keeping her away from screens?
Oh, just that right now, I'm already aware when we're watching TV or anything in front of her, I don't really want her looking at it.
Oh.
But even though right now it's not really a concern because she can't really see the TV from where she is.
Yeah.
But still, I'm trying to be aware of it. Just like I know it's inevitable, so I'm like not like going to be crazy about it. But I'm just going to try as much as I can now, just because so many parents that I know are just like they're just addicted. They're glued. Like by 2 years old, they're just you can't peel them away from it.
Yeah, yeah, babies just clicking on it. They don't even know what they're watching. They're just
Yeah,
just
and it's another one of those things that's just like we don't know the effect of this.
Yeah.
We don't know the effect of a kid being on an iPad from when they're 2 years old. 20 years later, like we're running these experiments in real time, and there's probably a little bit of like moral panic about it too. You know, like they said the same thing about television.
Yes, that's true.
Davis and
Yes.
Butthead will fry your brain.
Or
Right.
there's a D&D. They were like, it's a devil's game and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Right.
Where the kids get
Yeah,
into
so
it.
there's
That's what the
always-
D stands for.
Devil and devil.
Gotta keep your kid from the screen. You gotta keep your kid from the screen. You gotta keep your kid from the screen. If you want them to turn out great.
Yeah, you gotta keep your kid from the screen. You gotta keep your kid from the screen. You gotta keep your kid from the screen.
If you want them to turn out great.
Keep your kids off the screen on the level. Keep them off the screen or else they'll turn into the devil. Keep them off the screen or else they'll play Dungeons and Dragons. Keep them off the screen or else they'll be dragging.
Keep them off the screen. No more dopamine. Don't hijack their reward system, if you know what I mean. They gotta keep their brain okay. Serotonin every day. If you want them to be good in the USA, gotta keep your kid on the screen.
You gotta keep your kid off the screen. You gotta keep your kid off the screen. No.
If you want them to turn out great.
Ding.
I'll say, hey there, kid, get off that screen. Get your ass in the book. You know what I mean. Don't look at things that are obscene. Look at things that are bad. I seen them terrible damn grades you had. Get to the book. Get to the library. You want to have no teeth? It's very scary. Yeah. You know, I see the demons. Listen to me, I'm Morgan
Freeman. You gotta keep your kid off the screen. Morgan Freeman said, gotta keep your kid off the
He
screen.
just watched Lean on Me.
You gotta keep your kid off the screen. Batman.
Gotta keep your kid. Let's hear it from a dad.
You want them to be good. You want them to be better. Not trying to raise a kid that's living in meta.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. You know I'm gonna grade this. Not trying to have my kid living in the Matrix.
Ooh.
In the real world, little nature. Kid's gonna be so good, ain't gonna hate you. If you teach them to be natural, teach them to be good so they can see the physical world and emotions are understood.
You gotta keep your kid on the screen. You gotta keep your kid off the screen.
Forest bathing.
You gotta keep your kid off the screen. Go outside. You gotta keep your kid off the screen.
Here's Wally.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the North Coast Podcast. Follow us at North Coast NYC on all social media and northcoastnyc.com.